So good evening guys, and you'll never guess where I am. No, I'm not the coffee cup. I'm a little bit further on than the coffee cup tonight. A friend of mine, and you know who you are, sent me a message during the week and said to me that there's a little spot further along the beach which can have better form for rays. So although I've been catching them down at the coffee cup, the last couple of sessions have been a little bit slow, so I thought I'd give this new spot a try. So I had Friday night and Saturday night free this week. Friday night there was a match along East Knee, so I decided to fish somewhere different. A new venue for me, so have a look at this and I'll get back to you after. So as you can see, I'm back down the beach again, back fishing with Mark again tonight. Different venue tonight though, down at the lifeboat at Gosport near Browndown, Stokes Bay. Never fished here before, but it's got some form as far as the rays are concerned, so I'm told. So just wrapping up a bluey bait now. It's low tide. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's not a breath of wind, it's not cold. And it's high tide, I think about 11 o'clock, and now it's about, I think it's getting on towards 4:30, 4:45, so absolutely plenty of time. My bait's really frozen, but I'm wrapping it on well, so it'll be fine once it gets out there. It was all a little bit rushed, a little bit lastminute.com when I was at home. But we're here, going to get a couple of rods out, and then put the shelter up, and then I can have a proper chat. So the rods are out now and I can relax a little bit. Got a squid and bluey on each of them. Not fishing very far out. Looks like this beach shelves off quite steeply, so I've got a feeling there's some deep water quite close in. But like I say, I never fished here before, so a bit of trial and error for me. I think Mark's fished down here before. He's just about 50 yards along. He's got 3 rods out and I've got 3 rods out, so there's a bit of scent in the water. Tide's just started to turn. Oh, the white's lit up. It's really clear. The visibility is brilliant, and it's amazing out here. I love it on the beach. I really need to get some course fishing done, but at the moment it's just the evenings that are presenting themselves, so I've got to ride with it. I've got to fish where I can when I can. So, but this works for me. I've got some bait in the freezer, so it's easy just to drop of a hat, grab some stuff, get out the door. This isn't as local as the coffee cup. The coffee cup's about 4 minutes around the corner for me. This is probably about 20 minutes with no traffic, and I was travelling on Friday afternoon as well, so there was traffic. I think I left home at about 25 to 4, and I got here about 4:15, so not too bad. But really looking forward to the session. Really nice to be fishing with Mark again, lovely fella. And hopefully between us we can catch something. Got the bells out there. It's really dark over here because it's kind of away from everything. You're far enough away from the road so that you don't hear the road. All you can hear is a gentle lapping, but because there's no wind tonight, there's not much lapping going on, so it's really, really quiet. That's why I'm quite excited to listen to the bells if I get a bite. I think it'll ring out in the night and it'll be really prominent. Yeah, I'll get back to you if we catch anything. So there's been a bit of action. We've been chinwagging for about an hour now. The rod's been out for about an hour, and we decided to wind him in, have a little look and just check the bait situation. So Mark wound in first and he had a big starfish on. It's really cool. And then I wound in my right hand rod. The bait had been a bit chewed, so put a fresh one on and put that out. I wound in the middle rod. That had been completely eaten. All I had on there was the backbone of the bluey. So I freshened that one up and put that one out as well. And I wound in the multiplier rod, and that was completely intact. Just had another bite, sorry. Yeah, that was intact. So I was just re-clipping it up so I could put it back out again with the same bait, because it was good to go. And then the first rod that I put out had a jingle. So I dropped the rod and ran up to the one that had the bite, and it was just jingling a bit, but it wasn't going massively. So I left it and went down and put the multiplier rod back out. Got back to the rod with the bite, and there was nothing there. It must have moved on. So I wound it in. There's a whole squid on that rod. So I wound it in, and the bait was good. So I clipped it back in and put it back out again. And just while I've been talking to you, I heard it jingle again. So I'm going to pop out and stand by the rod. Hopefully we'll have a fish soon to show. There's definitely something out there. And there we have it. First fish of the night. A whiting. Blue and squid cocktail. Fairly big hooks as well. I think I had a 4 on the bottom and so a 2-0, 4-0 on the bottom and a 2-0 on the top. We've been getting a few whiting bites, and we were just saying we're going to hook one of these in a minute and wind it in, and there we go. We'll get this back, get a decent bait back on, and get it back out there again. Happy days. It is such a mild night tonight. Mark's just had a dogfish, so we've got a fish each now, which is good. And I've got a little bite on the right hand rod developing, but I think they're whiting. There seems to be loads of whiting out there. Got the bovril tonight in the flask, which is really, really nice. Makes a nice change from the coffee, definitely. And some little scissors. I've got some little scissors I've been using. I had trouble finding some small enough, and I found these ones on Amazon. And they've got pink handles, which are really handy, so if I leave them in the shingle I can see them easily, and I don't leave them behind. And I just find these little sharp pointy ones. They're craft scissors. They're tiny, but they're brilliant for snipping off the old baits that I've got elastic all around them. Just snips them up all the way down one side, bait pops off, and then you can put a fresh one on. And these were about £4 for 2 pairs delivered. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, say it's really mild, it's really calm. Loads of boats out there moving about. It's really, really nice. I love it over here. It's not as fast and frantic as it is over at Southsea, but there's a match over there tonight. I think Lock, Stock and Tackle have got their first match of the season, so it's going to be a bit busy over there. I think the plan is to go over there tomorrow night. Me, Mark and a couple of his friends. Have a bit of a social one down there, see if we can get amongst some fish. It'd be nice to meet some new friends as well. But yeah, really enjoying the session. Like I say, the fishing's a little bit on the slow side. I think if I put some flappers on and small slivers of squid, I could probably catch whiting every chuck, because I'm getting bites every chuck. But because I've got big baits on and big hooks, I'm just not hooking them. But yeah, it's really lovely out tonight. Well, apologies for the lack of fish, apologies for the lack of anything at the moment. Getting a few whiting bites, you can tell, just little jingly bites, but I'm pretty sure if we went down to 2 hook flappers and little bits of squid on size 2 hooks, we'd be catching fish, but I'd rather leave them out there for something bigger to catch hold of it. I can hear that bell jingling away now, but I just stood by the rod and just watched the tiniest of jingles. Probably pout or whiting out there, just having a little tug on a fairly substantial bait. But when I'm winding them in, they're not stripped, not all of them. The odd one's coming in a bit torn, but you could probably put them straight back out again. I'm just freshening them up each time, just so that I've got some nice fresh scent in the water. But it might be that this place fishes differently, different time of the tide. Over at Eastney, we found out that the low water in the first hour of the flood seems to be the best time, but over here it might be completely different. It might be high water at slack, it might be the first hour of the ebb. You just never know. So we're going to sit it out anyway, maybe till it's 11:15 high tide, and I think we're going to fish until maybe midnight or just after, just to give it a fair crack at the whip. It's a lovely evening. It's starting to get cold now. I've had to put the hat on. The old ears starting to feel a bit chilly. But I think Mark's going to put a 2-hook flapper out just to see, just to see what it is that's giving him them little bites. Could even be that there's dabs out there or something, you know, could be anything tugging away. More than likely whiting, but I think he's going to make a little experiment and find out, and then we'll go from there. So there you go, that was a lovely session with Mark. Lovely new venue, really chilled, calm evening. Could have done a few more fish, but it's not all about catching fish. Tonight is a bit of a different prospect. It's quite windy tonight, and it's coming straight in from the sea. So I've got my shelter on the side a little bit, which is great. We're right up on the top of the high tide line. It's low tide. I think it's just starting to come up now. I've got 2 rods out with big baits on. I've got the up and over rig this time. I had a little look at it today on YouTube, trying to work out how you make it, the components needed, and made a couple up in the kitchen, and I really like it. I've been working my way through these rigs. I started off with just a clip down rig, and I thought that when the tide's pushing, I just don't think that that's fishing on the bottom unless you've got the rod tip right parallel with the water. So then I've been fishing the drop down pulley, and I love the way that that's fishing on the bottom, but I think it's anchored to the lead, and I think if you've got a fish that's a little bit sensitive to the inertia, you could be just getting one bit of a pull and then letting go. You're not going to get the bite develop. So with this up and over, I think I've got 3-foot rig bodies. Because it's up and over, I've got a 5-foot hook link, which is absolutely brilliant. I love long hook links. I think it flows better, and I love the fact that once it is out there, you are fishing effectively a running ledger, which I really like. So I've got a couple of those out tonight. I've got one with a whole squid on. I just heard a little jingle there. One with a whole squid on, and one with the squid and bluey. And I've put a 3rd rod out with just a 2-hook flapper and little bits of squid with a little bit of bluey on the hook point. And I'm hoping to catch a dab. I love dabs. I haven't caught a dab for absolutely years, and I'd love to catch one. I think it's a little bit rough for him tonight, but it's out there, and if we can pick up a couple of whiting or pout or something on that rod, I think it'll be a little bit of fun and a little bit of action while I'm waiting for the bigger rods to go. So that's the plan for the evening. I'll get back to you if anything happens, but I'm going to have a cup of coffee now and then go along and have a chat with the lads, because I'm fishing with Mark again tonight, and his brother's down as well tonight, so a bit of socialising to do. So I'll catch you in a bit. So I'm just going to wind the big rods in. I've just wound in the little flapper rod. Just wanted to show you what I'm doing, and that's a size 2 with a strip of squid and a tiny little bit of bluey just on the hook point. I've just wound that in first after the first cast, and the hooks were completely stripped, so I don't know if they've been crabbed or maybe the whiting have ripped them apart. But so yeah, that's rebaited. I'm going to put that back out again, and then I'm going to check the big rods, because they've been out for an hour now, just to see how the land lies. So it's taken a couple of hours and it's been very quiet, but the little scratching rod I've put out has saved the blank with a baby whiting. Look at that. Perfect live bait size. Not that I'm going to put it out for live bait, but yeah, look at that. That is the blank saver right there. You can actually see through it. Super little fish, miniature whiting. Still got sharp teeth though. Crazy. Yeah, brilliant. I'll put them in a bucket just while I put the rods back out again. I've freshened up the baits on the bigger rods, and I've put that scratching rod back out again as well. So I've got plenty of options out there. I've got squid and bluey wrap on the 2 big rods now, and squid and a little tiny little bit of bluey back out on that scratching rod. So having a good social with Mark and his brother as well. So yeah, it's really good. Had a really good session. So it's dead quiet out here tonight. Can't believe it. Got 2 big rods out with big baits on. I've got 2 scratching rods out there now as well. I'm not getting any bites. I'm not hearing the bells. I think last night's form's carrying on into tonight. Just going to stick with it. It's still, I don't know what time it is. Still got plenty of time. I'm sure it's just, yeah, 20 past 9, and it's probably 9, 10, 11, 12, 3 hours till high tide. So we've got plenty of time. But yeah, I think it might be time to start thinking about a new venue. Maybe this has died off now. It's been quiet for the last few trips. I have to give that some thought, I think. But having a lovely social with the lads, just made myself another cup of coffee. Gonna grab some food and go and have a chin wag while we're waiting for a bite. It's anything you can do. So there you go guys, fish number 2. Another little whiting on the scratching rod. Scratching rod's just starting to get a few little bites now. Only close in. Tiny little slivers of squid I got on there and a couple of tentacles. I'm trying to catch a dab. I'd love to catch a dab. I haven't caught a flatfish for so long now. But yeah, if these can keep me occupied, if that's all we've got, then if that's all that's out there, that's all we can catch. The big rods are really quiet, but they're out there. They've got fresh baits on every half an hour. That's all we can do. So yeah, fish number 3. And it's another whiting. Not very exciting, I hear you say. But I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Probably not. But he's got some score marks down either side. Proper little grooves where something's grabbed him. I don't know if something's grabbed him while he was out in the water or while he was on my hook. But he's definitely been grabbed by something. Yeah, it's definitely got teeth marks scratched down either side. Probably just make that out. So yeah, he's a lucky little whiting, he is. Got another fish. I've had enough of these already. But we're catching. That's what we come to do. That's a live bait if ever I've seen one. So that's it for me guys, the big rods are in and packed away. Just going to wind in the scratching rod, see if there's anything on there and then put that away as well and get myself home. Been another enjoyable session, great company again. Tricky fishing, but seems to be going that way down here now. Over the last week I've seen it just start to slow up, so I think next weekend I'm going to have to fish a little bit further afield. Not quite sure what to do yet. I've got Chesil in mind, perhaps, possibly even down Eastbourne way for the place that are starting to show. But I think in this game you've got to follow the fish, and it's quite obvious that they're not here at the moment. So whatever I do, I'll bring the camera along as always and show you guys what's going on. Until then, tight lines. Thanks for watching. See you next time.